Hello and welcome to this special edition of Restarting India. I'm Shereen Bhan, and today we turn our focus to the MSME sector, the second largest employer in India and one of the worst casualties of the COVID-19 pandemic. Manpower crunch, lack of cash flow, low demand and a lack of capital are but some of the problems plaguing the sector. The government has already intervened, operationalizing a 3 lakh crore credit guarantee scheme for the sector. The RBI has thrown in a life jacket as well, allowing banks to restructure specific stressed MSME loans without classifying them as NPAs. But the pain is far from over. However, it's not all gloom and doom for the sector. In fact, the pandemic has acted as a disruptor, pushing the MSME sector to embrace technology. So over the next 30 minutes, our team of reporters will get you a status check on how the MSME sector has turned the COVID challenge into an opportunity by leveraging the digital medium. Well, let's start with Ashish Vadhavan, who runs a handicraft company that used to employ 100 people. Only 50 people have returned to work so far as he attempts a restart. Timsy Jaipuria brings you more.
MSMEs across India are yet to function back at pre-COVID levels. With supply and travel lines still disrupted to a large extent, the small manufacturers are now adapting to the new normal by using technology. Take, for instance, case of Ashish Vadhavan, a Greater Noida-based handicraft exporter who now monitors his plant in Jodhpur through his mobile and laptop.
Earlier, 1 week I used to be in Delhi, 1 week I used to be in Jodhpur. There's no flights. Production is less than 50%. There's no staff, no labor. 50% of the labor is still in the villages. They're not ready to come because they feel more safe in the villages. We had a strength of 100 people working, and out of those 100, just 50 people have come back, and the orders have also come down. So at the moment, but we are paying everybody. So we have given them, told them that if you by August we can pay. If you do not come, that we cannot guarantee you the same salary that we will give you after August.
While frequent factory visits are now being replaced with virtual monitoring, MSMEs are also using technology to reach out to their clients. Vadhavan, for instance, now provides virtual tours to his foreign clients and shares online catalogs while pitching to them for new orders.
We have no choice. We have to do the webinars, the Zoom meetings. We are doing Zoom meetings with our buyers, the conferences and everything. They are seeing the product themselves. They also want to see what exactly is going to come, because earlier the inspection agencies were there involved. Earlier we used to, make samples. We used to make catalogs of the new item and to fly off. Now everything is being done online, so we have no choice but to show them either through PPTs or on videos, on webinars. So we don't have a choice. They are not feeling very comfortable because they used to feel the item first.
While technology has helped MSMEs to bypass the COVID-19 impact to a large extent, but they still feel that the government interventions like special credit lines extended to MSMEs has unable to cushion the actual impact of the pandemic.
I don't know what kind of turnover we're going to achieve this year. The bank's limits are going to remain the same. The PC limits are going to remain the same. The charges are not going to reduce. We might have to take another loan from the government to sustain and then again pay. See, the problem is loans taking is not an issue. You have to return it also. You might give us a moratorium of 3 months or 6 months, but that interest is going to pile up. I think it's good for people, those who are defaulters. Like if you're not a defaulter, and why would you stop the moratorium? Why would you stop your installments? Either you waive off the interest, then it is beneficial. Just extending it for 3 months is not, because that 3 months interest is also going to pile up. Ultimately, either the government says that, okay, fine, we waive off the 3 months interest, then it is like something good. In fact, I can vouch, a lot of my friends who are exporters in this trade, they're also not taking this moratorium scheme.
The micro, small and medium enterprises are considered to be the backbone of Indian economy, as they account for a major chunk of manufacturing and services ecosystem. While many of them are trying to adapt to the new normal, the going has been extremely tough. With camera person Saroj Singh, this is Timsy Jaipuria.
Well, masks, they're everywhere now thanks to COVID-19. But if some manufacturers have their way, the everyday protective mask could see a slew of changes. Jude Sanith explores how textile companies in Tamil Nadu are using technology to transform the unassuming common mask into a germ killer. Take a look.
A month after the government announced a complete nationwide lockdown to try and control the spread of COVID-19, 3 Chennai-based textile companies, MC Apparels, Sri Kumar Texant Corporation and Dwintex got together and decided to make what they hoped would be stronger, more effective protective masks. They chose to build these masks around a Swiss technology called HiQ, which helps these face masks deactivate viral particles through reverse osmosis. Launched in July under the banner of Defend and Protect, these masks have notched up some impressive numbers.
We have the ability to make about 150,000 masks a day. Right now what we are making is about 15 to 20,000 masks every day. And yeah, we expect to keep going at it as long as the demand lasts.
The mask that I'm wearing merely prevents the entry of viral particles and thereby acts as only a barrier. Masks that are equipped with HiQ ViroBlock technology, however, have a generous coating of silver ions that not only prevents viral particles from making it through, but also attracts and deactivates the viral particle itself.
When combined with a bio-based liposome layer, the silver ions that you see here end up destroying the outer coat and core of the virus. Several other textile companies like Loyal Textiles and Shiva Texyarn have since approved HiQ ViroBlock, and masks are priced anywhere between 49 rupees and 250 rupees each. Companies like Shiva Texyarn currently make about 2 million masks for the domestic market alone. They say this could be ramped up considerably if exports are allowed.
At this point of time, we are talking somewhere in the range of 5 million masks a month going out of the country. That's the kind of export orders that we are talking about right now. Now that will, of course, like I said, come into fruition only after the export ban is lifted.
With markets like Brazil heavily dependent on imports to satiate a massive demand for protective equipment like masks, these textile companies could be in for an even bigger windfall if and when exports of PPE equipment are permitted. In Chennai, Jude Sanath.
Well, CRISIL expects revenues for the MSME sector to decline by 20 to 22% on account of the pandemic. The lockdown has posed multiple challenges for the sector. The silver lining, though, is that many mid and micro business enterprises are turning these challenges into opportunities by leveraging the digital medium. Yash gets you this report.
Zamkudi has been a household name for people in the western suburbs of Mumbai. The ethnic and casual wear chain, which has been in the business for almost 3 decades, faced its biggest challenge when the government announced a nationwide lockdown, forcing the brand to bring down its shutters. The time was right for the new generation to step up with newer methods and take the brand online. Enter Taksh Dedia, the second generation entrepreneur who decided to harness the digital medium to bring brand Zamkudi back to its customers.
Zamkudi has been a household brand for more than 25 years in Mumbai now. But we did not have a presence, unfortunately, before COVID-19 online. We've been a traditional business and we've been marketing offline through newspapers, magazines, etc. But what we've learned from the past 4 months is digital is important. We have a marketing plan in place. We have a communication plan in place. For our sales, we're investing into content to engage with customers. And secondly, we're investing into people as well, because we need specialized people to respond to people if there's any comments, any reviews and stuff like that. So that builds relationships and the content builds sales. So we're investing in those areas at the moment.
Naturally, the online cost to revenue structure for brands like Zamkudi does not look very attractive at this nascent stage. But the company does not see that as a deterrent, as it feels that going forward, online sales could become a meaningful parallel to its store sales.
The revenue that we're getting is offsetting the cost that we've put in every month. We're building our investments slowly and slowly. So the digital channel is going to be big for us going forward because of the things happening around us, obviously. It's not going to get less or it's not going to stay the same, but it's going to accelerate when things open up, because we're going to be prepared to connect to even bigger base.
Not just mid-sized enterprises, but micro units have also made their online foray, with innovation being the key differentiator. Now, with homes becoming classrooms, the Mazgon School Depot has also started online delivery of books and study materials.
Our surrounding schools principals, they approached us and they asked us to start with the online business so that the students don't have to come all the way down over here, and they can get their books to be delivered at their residence. And this is how we started off, and we created our own website, mazgonbookdepot.com. Students from their schools, they have to go to the online, select the standard, make the payment, and send their addresses so that we can deliver the books to them at their residence.
The trend is clear. The pandemic has acted as a catalyst for various MSMEs to increase their dependence on online sales. But what do numbers say about the sustainability of this trend?
Compared to earlier months, if we directly check it, so it's has increased by 3x. Like everyone who we used to follow up for, more of sales and more of coming on the social media platform, and it was never a primary thing for anyone. But due to lockdown situation and their sales reduction, they have switched to this channel.
With offline sales showing no signs of pickup just yet, various micro, small and medium enterprises are increasing their focus on online sales. The COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdown has resulted in a faster adoption of technology, but these enterprises believe that their digital footprint today will help define growth for them in long term. With camera person Altaf Ahmed for CNBC TV 18, Yash Jain.
Well, you're watching Restarting India. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic and the prolonged lockdown has been a major disruption for the MSME sector. Parikshit Luther reports on how some players in the B2B marketplace have adopted technology to effect greater efficiency. And the proof of this particular pudding is in the memberships. Take a look.
This is Azadpur Mandi, Asia's largest fruit and vegetable market. But it's no longer as buzzing as it used to be before the pandemic struck earlier this year. When disruption started hurting business, farmers and sellers here were quick to adapt, and they chose technology to continue trading without having to be physically present at the mandi. For this, they used e-mandis like agribazar.com.
I am just clicking on my AgriBazaar app. So this is the home page where you directly come. So now I just see, for instance, this there is a location called Pilibanga. So it is in Ganganagar, Harmangarh area. So there is a seller of guar seed. So this, you will see the quantity 30 quintal is being displayed, and this is the wish list, 4,200 rupees quintal. This seller is expecting.
AgriBazaar allows farmers to list their produce on the application, and a buyer can select his purchase sitting anywhere in the country. Through online auctions, a farmer gets the best price for his crop.
We have seen 400% jump in registrations coming in these 3 months. We have about 50,000 tons which have been traded directly by farmers. And now our reach is up to 2 lakh farmers. If I talk about the trade volume, see, before this financial year, we had done about 14,000 crores of trade on AgriBazaar. But this 1 quarter only, or about 4 months period, we have done about 5,500 crores of trade only in these past 4 months.
Be it moong dal, onions, groundnut or apples, a trader can buy anything at the click of a button.
कोविड के टाइम में एक तो हम इससे बीमारी से ही बचे हैं. अगर घर बैठ के अपना ऐप यूज़ करके अगर हम कोई भी चीज़ परचेज़ कर रहे हैं तो हमारे को रेट्स का भी आइडिया रहता है हर एक चीज़ का, कि रेट्स उसमें सबके आ जाते हैं, क्वालिटी आ जाती है. एक जगह जगह घूमने से बच जाते हैं, नहीं तो बीमारी के उसमें आ सकते हैं अगर जगह जगह लोगों से मिलेंगे तो.
AgriBazaar now wants to expand operations from 32 to 75 cities and wants to increase its employee strength from 150 to 500.
We are a full stack agri-tech solution. So where we are trying to rope in farmers from their sowing stage. So we have a farmer advisory wing where, through remote sensing, satellite imagery and all, so you actually can see the farm gate. So when you geofence a particular land bank, so where you can tell ki farmer geography-wise, which is the optimum crop which they can sow. During the entire course of time of their production, we monitor that crop, and then we keep on advising about any damage or any health issue of that particular crop. And till harvest, we are like monitoring that crop.
As the next step, AgriBazaar wants to enlist testing laboratories, transporters and financiers on the application as well, a move that will bring the entire agriculture supply chain online. AgriBazaar is an example of how farmers and buyers started adopting technology in a bigger way when physical visits to mandis like these was not possible. But it's not just e-mandis and AgriBazaar. Even the B2B marketplace has realized that the use of technology can lead to greater efficiency, lesser number of physical visits and less office space as well. Trade India is a B2B marketplace for India's SMEs, and it saw a 25% increase in monthly sales during the pandemic. The application allows transactions in English and 6 other regional languages.
Good afternoon, Ankur bhai. Good afternoon, Kanan madam. Thank you પહેલા તો તમે time આપ્યો આજે video meeting પર મળવા માટે.
The pandemic has driven agents of the company to tap clients through video calls rather than physical visits.
The biggest challenge that we faced, our sales people faced, that they could meet hardly 2 people or 3 people max in a day. You know, to go to the office, come to our office, take an appointment, go meet him, and then come back, then go for the next appointment. But when you're doing video calls and meeting people or calling people on the phone and fixing it, so their productivity went up a lot. You know, like right now we expect them to make minimum about 10 effective calls a day. What we realized was another pain point, which we realized for the small medium entrepreneurs was one is marketing, which Trade India is taking care. The second thing we thought was most important for them would be to generate invoices and to collect payments online. So that is what we are developing right now for the small medium entrepreneurs, that on a click of a button, they can generate invoices, send out payment links so that it's contactless.
Trade India says it has hired 600 people in recent months, but work from home and video calls will be a permanent feature of the business going forward.
Are you dealing in COVID-19 essential items?
The portal is also organizing virtual trade fairs connecting small and medium enterprises across the country. In New Delhi, Parikshit Luthra.
Well, that was how the MSME sector has taken technology up to try and make best of the current situation. But where does the sector find itself when it comes to relief from the government? According to the Finance Ministry data, as of August 24th, around 1.55 lakh crore rupees has been sanctioned under the government's emergency credit line guarantee scheme. That's a little over 50% of the 3 lakh crore rupees sanctioned. Well, to understand more of the ground reality, joining us now is Animesh Saxena, the president of the Federation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Mr. Saxena, many thanks for joining us. Before I ask you about the measures announced by the government and the offtake for the MSME sector, let me ask you about tech adoption. As all of our reporters were taking us through the various changes that MSMEs have brought in to try and capitalize on the current situation, adopting technology for their business processes. What's been the tech adoption rate for the MSME sector? What's the feedback that you're getting?
That's correct. It's on the rise, which we have noticed, especially in small and medium enterprises. Micro is still, they are not adopting to that. The micro units are tiny units, and probably, you know, the people are not very literate to handle the technology. But small and medium definitely is on the rise, which you are seeing. A second issue was that a lot of second generation people are joining their businesses, their parents' businesses. So they are very, very comfortable with the technology, and they probably believe in the technology more rather than a physical contact. So we are seeing it's on the rise.
You're seeing digital adoption on the rise, which is improving productivity and perhaps efficiency as well. Mr. Saxena, let me ask you about the government's MSME scheme. According to the Finance Ministry, as of the 24th of August, 1.55 lakh crore rupees sanctioned, 1.05 lakh crore rupees disbursed. What's the situation on the ground?
You see, for that you have to understand the MSME. If you see the data of the MSME, the total, there's 6 crores unit in the India, which are registered under MSME. And out of that, 90% are in the micro sector. Most of the government scheme funding, which this emergency credit line, has gone to small and medium enterprises. they failed to touch the micro units. There are a couple of historical reasons behind it. First, most of the micro units, they were not part of the institutional finance ecosystem, because these schemes were valid only for those who already had a CC limit with the bank, which they were formally dealing with the bank, and they had a limit sanction against them, against some collateral. So the government allowed them to borrow 20% more against those CC limits. The problem is the micro units, which were largely dependent on NBFCs or private lenders. So they remained untouched with that. And we have been requesting the government now work out some scheme where these, because they are the 99% of the MSME family, how they can be serviced by the banks under some scheme of the government.
Okay, so the micro enterprises continue to feel the pain and require some government intervention. But as far as the restructuring schemes announced by the Reserve Bank of India, what's the situation? And more importantly, what's the feedback coming in from your members on the companies that have already been able to avail of the moratorium? What are they now seeking? Are many seeking an extension of the moratorium? Have talks already started on restructuring?
Yes. What is happening, you see, the data which is coming in, especially in this Q2, the industrial production is falling down. What we saw till the last month, there was when the lockdown started partially opening, there was a lot of pent-up demand, unfinished orders, but this real test will be this quarter. And that will be the high time when the government has to consider the extension of the moratorium. And another factor, which one of the handicraft exporter in your program was talking, he was talking sensible that government should seriously consider some interest waiver for at least 6 months, for 2 quarters. Because if you're availing the loan also, it's coming at a cost. It's a moratorium, you're not paying the EMI right now, but eventually you'll have to pay back. So the cost will be adding up. So if, like what we are hearing for the last 2-3 days, government is considering another stimulus package, probably after this cases, the COVID cases come down or stabilizes. So that will be a good support and stimulus of the industry. The government can consider, work out something with the banks if at least 6 months interest waiver can be planned.
Okay, interest waiver is what the MSME sector is hoping for. Of course, this matter is also being taken up by the Supreme Court. We will hear more on the government's point of view on this on the 1st of September. But before I let you go, Mr. Saxena, what is the current estimation now in terms of closure of business as well as job losses? As an association, what's the data that you're working with?
Right now, whatever the surveys which we have done, we feel it's not a healthy signal which we are getting. There are especially job losses around 35 to 40%, because there are challenges behind it. Because a lot of units were not able to come up, they restart. I mean, internal issues like the entire value chain is not operational, lack of orders, and traditionally also this, from an industrial point of view, this monsoon season has been always a weak season. So people are waiting for some demands to pick up before they open their units and they start working. And a lot of workforce is still in the villages. They have not come back. And people are also avoiding calling everybody back to the work till the time the order books are good. So everyone is hoping for the festival season to kick in and they see how the demand picks up. These are the challenges.
Okay. What is the indication on demand at this point in time? You said that once the lockdown was lifted and we went into the unlock phase 1, there was pent-up demand. What's the outlook now for the month of August? What has the picture been like as far as demand is concerned?
Demand is weak. This August and up to September also, we are expecting the demand is going to be weak. Because we are, I mean, most of our members have reported lack of orders.
lack of orders being reported by most of your members. Mr. Saxena, thanks very much for giving us a status check on where things currently stand, both in terms of what the industry seeks further from the government. An interest waiver is the ask of industry. Micro enterprises require special attention. Their issues have not been addressed by the schemes announced by the government so far. That's the feedback coming in from the association, and the demand outlook for the month of August and September is on the weaker side. Thanks very much for joining us on Restarting India. With that, we'll take a break. There's a lot more coming up here on CNBC TV 18. The news continues. Stay right there.